Seeing videos about people living in the cars, people living in hotel rooms, people can't afford food, people just losing their mind because of this Biden inflation. It really started around 2020 during this scamdemic. And this is done on purpose. This is done by design. You listen to World Economic Forum, Clown Slob. I'm not going to play it, but you can look this up. He said, this is Agenda 2030. By 2030, he said, you'll eat the bugs, the meat will be a treat. That's what he said. That piece of crap. Klaus Schwab. I call him Clown Slob because he's a slob. Slob piece of crap person of humanity. He's not even a human. He's probably reptilian. But he said, you'll own nothing by 2030. You'll eat the bugs. You'll eat the bugs. The meat will be a treat. Notice how they're pricing us out of meat under the guise that, our beef is the lowest it's been in 70 years. That's done on purpose too. Everything they're doing is done on purpose. Weather manipulation, weather warfare, pricing you out of your home, pricing you out of food, pricing you out of everything. Listen, have you forgotten? People used to work one job. The family the dad would go to work 8 hours, come home, and that's that. That's a wrap. Sometimes the woman, for certain circumstances, had to work also, but the norm was one income households, and then it went to two income households, and then now it's like they need multiple jobs, each person in the household. It's ridiculous just to stay afloat. And I see the videos, they're losing their mind. They can't afford anything. They're like, fast food. Look at fast food. You JK, and that's supposed to be the cheapest damn thing around. Convenient, easy, cheap. Easy to get, cheap. It might be fast, but it ain't cheap. They're pricing us out of everything. Why is that? Well, by 2030, they want you to own nothing. They want you to rent. If you're lucky to be around by then, because the big plan is between now and then is to just kill off most of the world. Georgia Guidestones. In order to keep humanity in perpetual harmony with nature, you have to keep the population at 500 million or less, right? Georgia Guidestones that they knocked down, I think in 2022 or 2021, something like that. Remember when they knocked it down? How about the Deagle.com? They like to have population projections, and in 2025, this year, our country was supposed to go from the population we have now, around 400 million estimated with the invaders, down to under 100 million. That didn't happen. Not yet, and the year's almost out. So they kick that can down the road a little bit. They'll adjust the goalposts, but rest assured, we are being priced out of existence, and sooner or later they're going to attempt to delete more of us out of it. This is a fact. They want less of us on Earth. This carbon footprint that they keep talking about, these greenies, these Greta Thunder Thighs, these idiots saying that, we're causing and cow farts and people are causing the climate change. The earth is getting warmer. No, it's not. And if there is erratic climate, they're causing it with their chemtrails and their different technologies to create superstorms, hurricanes, and guide them, and things like that. And they're giving vaccines to the cows. And I still have the video. I still have it in queue. I just don't have enough time. I have it to show you that over in Europe, the cows are dying because thanks to Bill Gates, that piece of crap, reptilian Kermit the Frog looking, always with his hands like this. Yeah, quacksine. You give him I call them quacksines. They're vaccines, but they're quacksines. All right, because they're from quacks. Vaccines don't work. They're dangerous as poison. They call it vaccine. You know what Spanish word for cow or herd is? Vaca, V-A-C. V-A-C-A, vaca. Or in Spanish, the V is pronounced with a B, vaca. That means cow. That's how they see us, as a herd of cattle. Cows. Nothing. Moo, cow, moo, right? As figure and fiction would say. So here you are. You got vaccines that they, V-A-C, right? Vaccines. Or it's V-A-C-C-I-N-E-S. But that's what they mean. It's meant for the cattle, the human cattle, the actual cattle, cows, dogs, your pets. All this is done to kill, to maim, to hurt, to destroy. It's nothing good in a vaccine at all. It's nothing good. Everything that these demons produce for us to consume is toxic. The water, the chemtrails, the food, the big pharma, severely toxic. Why does it FDA? Well, you eat the food, take the pills, right? Makes you sick, the food, and then you take the pills, and one pill leads to another. Just like that song by One Thing Leads to Another, The Fix. Remember The Fix, that group The Fix? One thing leads to another. Well, one pill leads to another. You take a big pharma pill, it goes to, you get a side effect, and they have a pill for that side effect, and then that pill creates another side effect, and before you know it, you got 1, if not 2 feet in the grave. All right, everything they give you is poison. The news is BS. Most of it's just nonsense. It's BS. It's to keep you distracted and divided. But let's get into this. They want us priced out of existence. Don't you get it? They're robbing you. Is what they're robbing us. They're robbing you of your savings. They're robbing you of your. They're trying to rob you of your soul, your time. They want you to pull out your hair and go, I can't make it anymore. Like you see the videos. I can't afford food. I can't afford to live in this house. I got to give up my home. I got to sell it. Things like that. And speaking of homes, you squatters out there, you sons of bitches, I'm going to address you motherfuckers real soon. Because I saw this squatter, and he had a lot of melanin in his skin, as usually is the case. The Kangs squatted in this woman's house in Marietta, Georgia. He got arrested, but not for actually squatting, but he got arrested. These squatters and these need to be addressed and held accountable, and these Georgia laws for squatters need to. So here we are, the manufactured collapse, how inflation is being used to enslave America. Don't forget, this inflation started around COVID, 2020, 2021. 2021, it really took off during Beijing Joe Bidenflation. But, it's hasn't gotten much better since then, but supposedly it's going to get better by next year. Hopefully it will, but we'll see. We'll see, all right? So this is where we're at right now. It's become almost banal at this point to point out that America is in steep economic decline. And for those of you who are not feeling this economic decline, well, I guess you got a lot of big bucks. I guess you're the exception, not the rule, okay? Most people are they just can't afford these things anymore. You can't afford to go to a damn movie. How much is a fucking movie? Was it $15 to go see a fucking Hollywood movie? You JKing me? How much does it cost to get a combo meal at McDonald's, at Taco Hell? How much does it cost at any of these fast food restaurants? Much less, Chick-fil-A has always been expensive, but God knows, maybe Lou Ferrigno's. What do you get at Chick-fil-A for $11? Maybe you get a little sandwich, a little sandwich like this. Ooh, I got a little chicken sandwich, which is delicious, by the way, but I know they change the chicken. Maybe you get fries that are not packed in, with a lot of air between them. You might get 10 waffle fries. I mean, 4 nuggets at Chick-fil-A is what? $5? What is it? $1 a nugget? It's just, it's insane. They're pricing us out of existence, okay? But few are willing out there. There's some people that are connecting the dots, but few are willing to connect the dots, let alone to say the obvious, that this crisis is not merely accidental or the result of economic incompetence. It's being done on purpose. That's right. It's not economic incompetence. It's not an accident that this has happened. This is done on purpose. By 2030, if you're alive by then, own nothing and be happy, all right? And if you are alive, they plan for us to be in 15 minutes, stack 'em and pack 'em cities. Open air prisons. I already covered that. Inflation, the most devastating force, eroding the living standards of ordinary Americans. And it is. It is. People find it now. The tiny homes, how they made it fashionable over recent years. Why is that? Yeah, it's nice to live in a cozy, comfy little cottage on a little piece of land that's decorated nicely and very little maintenance. The fairy tale life. But seriously, why is that? Because they don't want you living where you are. If you have a house, they don't want you owning that house. As a matter of fact, they use weather warfare to get us to fook out of where we're living. They'll use earthquakes. If your area is earthquake prone, well, they got a patent for that. They got earthquake machines. If your area is prone to be flooding, well, they could just weather warfare, make it rain where you're at, and flood you out of your area. And then your insurance companies, and we've seen this before, say, yeah, we're not going to insure you anymore. You're not going to be able to rebuild in that area. Go look at the map of Agenda 2030. They have corridors where they want you and they don't want you. And most of the land in America, they don't want us to occupy. These are demons that we're dealing with, okay? And so, yes, they're pricing us out of existence on purpose. I meant purpose. Inflation's the most devastating force, the single most devastating force, eroding the living standards of ordinary Americans. And it's not some unfortunate byproduct of complex global supply chains or pandemic aftershocks. That's not the reason why this has happened. It's not because of supply chain, even though they did orchestrate that to be disrupted during COVID over a virus, no such thing as viruses that didn't exist. It was all done on purpose. Break up the supply chain, throttle the cargo ships out at sea because they closed the port over so-called sniffles. Remember 2020? Mask up, wear your damn satanic muzzles. Remember all that? All that trauma, that psychological bullshit that they inflicted on the world? Remember that? And most of the world caved in. But there were quite a bit of us that didn't wear the mask, did not comply, and saw it for what it was. It was a dress rehearsal for the New World Order, and they want another heaping helping. So what they're doing right now is just pricing us out of existence. They might say, well, we have a complex global supply chains and things are being disrupted right now, and then these are also the aftershocks of the scamdemic. That's not true. The scamdemic was fake. It was a hoax. It was the reason to carry out all these evil things that they're doing, to disrupt the supply chain, to get you to lock yourself down, which you did initially, to get to lock down after the sheeple volunteered to lock themselves down by not going to restaurants because they were scared of getting a virus, and not go over here, not go over there, the places they used to go to. Then they said, okay, lock it down, okay? They can't get away with this unless we allow them collectively to get away with it. And in 2020, that happened. Because most of the world are sheeple. They're not people. They're not we the people. They're they the sheeple. And so the narrative that they gave us was, well, it's such a delicate supply chain. And, just a little disruption, a little this, a little sniffles over here in a port. We have to shut it down. And then that will cause a disruption in the supply chain. They did all this on purpose. All of it. They say wars are necessary. They say the Iraq wars are necessary, that Jeffrey Epstein was just a rogue financier, and that Pfizer was working for our health. It's just all bullshit. It's a lie. It's all a lie. All right? The skyrocketing cost of food, housing, healthcare, and basic necessities is not due to market forces or bad luck. It is a direct consequence of deliberate monetary debasement by the Federal Reserve. We're being destabilized. Our society is being destabilized with the invaders, with all these libtarded judges and mayors and governors allowing crime to run rampant as they, go after the innocent citizens for breathing the wrong way. All this is done by design. The enemy's within, all right? The enemy's within. And what they're doing is they're just... All right. It is a direct consequence of deliberate monetary debasement by the Federal Reserve, an institution that has functioned as the enforcement arm of America's financial oligarchy since 1913. And that's why... Where is it at? Where's that? FedMart. Your trusted inflation partner since 1913. And the Federal Reserve is a big part of the problem. Let me repeat what I just said. All this stuff, the skyrocketing cost of food, the skyrocketing cost of housing, the skyrocketing cost of healthcare. I've seen videos of people saying their healthcare is going from like $800 a month to like $1,200 by January of next year. They're incrementally frog boiling us, But now it's gotten faster. That people, normies, regular people going, what the hell's going on? Why is this getting higher? Why is this getting higher? Why is it constantly getting higher? This is not normal. I've never seen everything in the world, from fucking cars. I've never seen an average car that was about 8 years ago might have been $15,000 or 17. Now it's like 50,000. Never seen that in my life. I've never seen jumps like this. Food jumping like this. Prices. Notice how gas prices are pretty stabilized, but yet everything keeps going up. I thought if gas went up, it causes goods to go up and things like that, because it takes gas to travel goods to and fro, and the more expensive the gas, well, they got to charge you more for the goods. But gas has been stable for a year or two, a year or so, stable, pretty much, a couple of years maybe. I'm not seeing that reflect on food. I'm not seeing that reflect on goods. So the Federal Reserve is an institution that has functioned as the enforcement arm of America's financial oligarchy since its inception in 1913. The Fed. Are you fed up with the Fed? Are you? I think a lot of people are fed up with the Fed, Federal Reserve. We're told that the Fed was created to stabilize the economy. In practice, it has functioned primarily to transfer wealth from the bottom to the top, meaning they're robbing most of us. The top is supposed to be like 1%. So if the Federal Reserve is meant to transfer wealth from the bottom to the top, it's meant to steal money by any means necessary from the bottom to the top. And they're using manipulation of interest rates and control over the money supply as the tools of quiet plunder. Yeah, it's a quiet way that they're doing it. You know, manipulate the interest rates, control the money supply. It's a quiet plunder. It's not like so outrageous. They're not doing it in such an outrageous manner that everyone wakes up and notices that they're doing it. It's just a quiet way of doing it. Control over the money supply. Manipulate the interest rates hither and thither and give some BS reasons why it's being done. And during the COVID hysteria, an orchestrated event, if there ever was one, the Fed printed millions of dollars out of thin air, increasing the money supply by nearly 40% in less than 2 years. That alone should have triggered alarm bells, but for most people it didn't. The Fed printed money. The Fed printed trillions of dollars out of thin air, because that's what it is. It's just nothing. It's a piece of paper. The dollar is a piece of paper. It's not been backed by gold in the longest time. And the only thing that's keeping it afloat is that people believe in it. Once people realize this shit is nothing, oh, the whole thing crumbles, doesn't it? Right? But the Fed, during the scamdemic in 2020, 2021, printed trillions of dollars out of thin air, increasing the money supply by nearly 40%. And what happened then? What happened? Remember, I think they gave a stimulus check around 2020. What happened? I think prices jumped like big time. But it didn't stop under Beijing Joe Biden. It was off the rails. Off the rails. The inflation. Too much money chasing too few goods creates inflation. And then the media didn't just ignore it, they covered for it. They blamed greedy corporations. They blamed Vladimir Putin or supply chain bottlenecks that I mentioned earlier that was orchestrated. Remember the cargo ships that were out to sea in the left coast? Remember that for a long time? And I remember Governor DeSantis saying, well, okay, we'll just reroute these cargo ships that are on the left coast out to sea for a long time due to ports being shut down because of COVID. He said, we'll have them come in through Florida, which helped. That did help. But this whole thing was set up for the end result. You'll own nothing. You'll be happy. That's what Klaus Schwab said. You'll own nothing. You'll be angry. Which one is it, Klaus Schwab? I think we're angry right now. We're not happy. Unless you're going to give us a happy pill. Is that what's going to happen? I don't know. The bottom line is, should I say the bottom line? History shows us that there's a pattern. Manufactured economic distress paves the way for centralize or the centralization of power. And right now, the stage is being set for a new kind of socialism. Not the grassroots kind, but one run by banks, corporations, hedge funds, and intelligence agencies. A system in which transactions are surveilled and political compliance is a precondition for basic economical survival. We are witnessing the controlled demolition of the American middle class. The question is not if the dollar collapses, but when, and what kind of regime will be installed in the wake of the collapse. All right? We hear a lot that 50% of Americans are on some form of government assistance. What's really acknowledged, or what's rarely acknowledged, is that this includes not just the poor, but vast swaths of the middle class and upper classes who derive their income directly or indirectly from the state. You think that deriving your income from the state or some form of government assistance was relegated to the lower class? Well, you got middle class, you got parts of upper class who derive their income directly or indirectly from the state. The real welfare class in America isn't the person receiving food stamps. It's the defense contractors, the NGO industrial complex, the university bureaucracies, and the tens of millions who extract wealth via government, grants, subsidies, and military industrial largesse. The bottom line is, the cycle is locked in. The state prints money to fund endless wars, corporate bailouts. Are you getting bailed out? No, but they are. The state prints money to fund endless wars, corporate bailouts, and government expansion. Price rise faster than wages. Tons of videos, plethora of videos, hither, thither, and yon on the internet of people saying, my wage has been the same for 20 years, but the prices are skyrocketing, have been rising over the years, but have since skyrocketed since the scamdemic. Done on purpose. Done on purpose. Stagnant wages, higher prices. They keep climbing. Notice how you go to the grocery store, the grok store, I call it the grok for short, right? You like. Everyone likes to talk, and instead of saying merchandise, they'll say merch. So instead of groceries, I'll say grok. You like that? Huh? No, you don't like it? Well, I don't like merch instead of merchandise. I don't like all this short lingo shit. But I digress. Have you noticed that if a container of coffee, I'll use Kroger as an example, about 2 years ago was $5.99 for a 24-ounce can of coffee. Then it went to like $6.99, and $5.99 was a sale. Then it went to $7.99, then $6.99 was a sale. Then it went to $8.99. See where it's going? See what I'm saying? At any rate, incrementally rising the prices constantly. Prices rising faster than wages. Dollars losing its value. Real wages fall. People are priced out of their homes. People are priced. I saw a video tonight, a compilation of people complaining that they got lured into the buying the new car trap. They got the loan, and it's just insane what they have to pay for a car that once you drive it off the lot, and this has always been this way, but the prices of cars now is just totally insane. Totally insane. Once you drive, why would you buy something new that once you drive it off, a big investment like that, like a car, a big buy like a car, you drive it off the lot, and you have to make these astronomical payments every month. It could be 5 years. Now there's 15-year plans for cars. Are you JKing me? 15 years for a car that ain't gonna be running in 15 years? That they have. It used to be 5 years. Was you buy a car, you got a 5-year plan to pay it off. But now it's 15 years because people can't pay it off in 5 years. If your car is severely depreciated after 5 years, it depreciates once you drive it off the lot, for instance. It's severely depreciated after 15. I'm just saying. All the stuff they're doing is not speculative. It is the exact sequence that is played out in countless regimes before the final dissolution. What has happened to other countries in times past, the collapse of their economies, and then this let's just say this. Let me say this. This is what's happening is the exact sequence that has played out in countless regimes before the final dissolution. Before this country gets dissolved, this is what you're seeing playing out, the pricing us out of existence. This has happened from Weimar Germany to the Soviet Union to present-day Argentina. The only difference is that America's elites seem determined to make this worldwide. The Great Reset isn't some fringe theory. It is an open agenda promoted by institutions from the World Economic Forum, the IMF, and the World Bank and the United Nations, and its purpose is simple: to replace the old system of national sovereignty and middle-class independence with a global system of technocracy and digital currency control. Digital ID, anybody? Yeah, inflation is not an unfortunate side effect. It is the trigger unleashed by design and managed to ensure that the American population is too impoverished and demoralized to resist what comes next, which is total dominance. Total New World Order shit. Digital ID. It might take another 10 years. We don't know. It might take another couple years, but they really want this to be a wrap by 2030. And it is the middle class that, from what I gathered, represents the biggest threat to this New World Order. So they have to wipe out the middle class. And they're doing a pretty darn good job right now. That's what I got for you. I hope this made sense. Maybe it didn't. I don't know. If it doesn't make sense, let me just say this in a sentence or two. They're pricing us out of existence on purpose to wipe out the middle class to install the New World Order. Does that make sense? Maybe that doesn't make sense either. How about the pricing us out of existence and we'll own nothing by 2030? That's their goal. Does that make sense? Don't be troll out there. I am Oot. That's coming too with this.